How do you do, ladies and gentlemen?
Now, here comes the...
Do you think you're funny?
I'll put my camera back. Not like this. Not like this.
Oh yeah, that's
But like
good.
this.
Huh? Okay, yeah, I like that.
Okay, now get a position. Stick it here. All right, are we good? Let's see. People on? Sorry about
Good
the
thing that
technical.
it accidentally did say 7:30, huh?
You did say accidentally 7:30, so yeah, it gave us a good 30 minutes to work out the kinks.
New location, y'all. Sorry, my bad. I don't have
Oh, it
everything
happens.
quite set up. I forgot one wire, and
One.
that was the downfall.
It's a very important wire.
It is. It connects my headset to my mic, and it allows me to be able to talk to y'all through the mic versus through the phone.
Oh, yeah.
So audio might be a little dodgy. Maybe not.
Well,
Don't know. We're gonna roll.
well,
it.
I got Mr. Yeah, we're going to roll with it. I see Mr. Harder has joined us. Mr. Harder, can you type a response saying you can hear us both clearly and all is good out in the world, please, Mr. Harder?
Pretty please.
Now there's like a 15, 20 second delay from what we're saying and then
Of
their
course.
response.
Of course.
See, and then on my screen, I could all I see is people who join us, but I can't read the comments.
Yeah, I can't
Unless
either. And it's not supporting the sideways thing anymore. So
I realized that.
corporate.
I realized that.
Yep. I got the notification as soon as I tried it. And I was like, all right, well, on to the next.
We'll see. And are you on your page or are you on the Bearded Buds page?
Your Buds page.
Okay. Let's see. I went into the group. But it's not showing. It's showing the old video.
Yeah, which I'll end up having to take that down.
Yeah, because it's not showing the new one that
That's
we're
fine.
doing right now.
That's fine.
No, it's not fun. I want to see it.
Not while we're making it.
Aw.
All right. So, what's new, dude? It's been a minute. We haven't seen each other or talked to each other. Well, we have. But
Yeah, behind the scenes, yeah. Another thing, but we haven't done a show since.
Right. I don't. It was last year. I do know that.
Summer of last.
No, not
Summer of
summer.
last.
It wasn't summer. No, I think we did one in December. Was it summer of last year? Holy shit. Okay, yeah, it was summer of last year.
Yeah. It's been a hot tick.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Okay, so all right. So Adam has some news. I don't know if y'all know about it. Adam, please go ahead. I know that you are excited and chomping at the bit to let everybody know about what you've got going on.
Oh, you mean that show I auditioned for and actually got a part?
Yeah, that thing. No
that
big deal.
thing. No big deal. No big deal.
No big deal.
Well, actually, before other feed so abruptly ended,
Yeah.
I was in the middle of going and telling everybody what theater shows were going on at the moment, and that I was involved. So
I
if you
took that
missed
away
that,
from you because I stumbled. I apologize profusely.
See, and if I even wiggle, my phone just jumps away, and I lose.
So I guess you
balance.
can't wiggle it just a little bit. All right.
That you're funny. You're so
yeah,
fun.
right?
You're a funny guy. You're a fun guy.
I know. I know this.
All
So that's
right.
why everybody comes to these shows. No, I'm joking.
I
They
know
come for
because
you.
they really enjoy listening to us rant and ramble and all that
Absolutely.
jazz. All right, but thank you, Amy, for letting us know that you can hear us fine. That's what I was waiting on. I actually see these every now and again. It pops up who's watching, and then Miss Miss Amy just messaged and says,
Yes.
"Can hear
Thank
you
you,
fine."
Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Now, so yes,
She's like,
Biloxi
move
Little
along.
Theater. Biloxi Little Theater is doing a show entitled Mississippi Goddamn. The Mary C. O'Keefe in middle next month, they're going to do their show Southern Fried Funeral. And in rehearsal stage right now at Center Stage over in Biloxi, they are rehearsing the play that goes wrong. So those are the three local theaters that I really talk about here on Bearder Buds Food, Movies, and Suds. If there's any more, feel free to get on our website and let us know of any shows that are going on that has to do with food, movies, music, television, you name it. We'll be more than happy to spread the word. Right?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And if you would like to be able to come on the show and talk about it, please, by all means, get in touch with us. We'll help you promote. That's not a problem. We're not looking for anything. Just by all means.
Yeah, we're open to all subjects, and so if there's a TV show or a movie that you really are passionate about and you want to talk about, hit us up on our Facebook page and say, hey, can you talk about this? We'll be more than happy to. We'll make a lineup and we'll do it there. All right. Hey, Catherine Crawford, thank you for joining us this evening.
Hello, hello. Yep.
So,
all right.
And so tonight, I hope you did your homework. We're talking about Percy Jackson.
Yes.
Yes. Written by Rick Riordan. I know I'm mispronouncing that, but
I'm sure he will enjoy that.
That is his series, and Disney decided, hey, let's keep this ball rolling and make a series after 2 movies came out.
Right.
The 2 movies
But
were...
it's not just that, though. If you look on YouTube, you're actually going to see a lot of fan-made videos as well. If you research, how much you decide to research, it's totally up to you. But researching this, I have found there's a lot of people that actually, I know, right? There's a lot of people that actually do want, they wanted to be able to see this show. No, and the author did not necessarily write it for children. It's not a kid's book. It's actually meant for young adults or young teenagers because of the fact that it does have, it's got some stuff in it. In the books, there's more graphic details. In the
What do
series,
you mean in the books? We don't read.
Yeah, I know. But of course, like I said, I've done all this research.
Yeah, you do the research, so yeah.
Yeah, no, keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. That's another thing. We don't interrupt each other. We keep the conversation going between us no matter what. So like I said, as he does the research, he can do the reading. Me, since I have no leg, I sit in my bed and I stream everything. So, which is also great because I'm moving out of the parents' garage, getting a house, gonna have an even bigger room, gonna have plenty to kick out and watch some more streaming shows. And I did the big adult thing by moving out of my parents' house. I called AT&T and I set up for internet. That was the first thing. Forget lights, forget water. I need my internet.
What's important, man.
So yeah, that was the first thing I did. So, but on the story of Percy Jackson, talking about being an adult, this is a young man who is sort of thrust into certain situations. Like we said in the commercial, daddy issues, mother issues, self issues, school issues.
Well, he hadn't found himself yet.
Yeah.
That's a good point to be able to actually do the verses on. And the series he's 12. And the movies, he's more like 16.
Yeah, 16, 17. I would
Yeah.
even push as far as 18, where they had
Well,
some
I mean,
like
they're using
21-year-old.
20-somethings to be able to
Yeah.
play a teenager part anyway. But
Yeah,
the fact is that he's supposed to be 12 in the story.
which is which is one of the things that I like about the series more than the movie.
Yes.
1 point
Oh, we'll
series.
definitely
We'll
go
tally
into
them all
okay.
up.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you now, it ain't looking good for the movie. All right. So, matter of fact, I do need to pull that up.
Oh yeah.
Hang on a second. Go ahead, Adam.
No, I was
Continue on with the.
yeah. Go ahead. Continue on with your research. The researchologist here on Bearded Buds Food Movies and Suds. But yeah, we see. I mean, if we talk about how, let's start at the beginning. How did the first movie, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, compare to Percy Jackson, the Disney Plus series? Now, if you remember when the movie was released, I don't. It was a while ago. I think it was like 2013
10.
or something. 10?
2010.
Whew, I was off. Okay, so when it was released, the first scene that they did in the movie was Poseidon meeting up with Zeus on a rooftop in the rain. I like the fact that in the series, you don't meet the dad till several episodes in.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's go to that point. For the movie, you've got Poseidon coming out of the water, and he's a titan. I mean, he's huge. One dude sees him, and he's a fisherman. And I'm sorry, if you've got a big, gigantic titan coming up out of the water, Godzilla will tell you, if you've ever watched that people are going to notice. There's going to be a little bit of a stink. Nobody's going to. So that part, didn't like.
Right.
The mist didn't work because the guy sat there and looked at it. Sorry.
No.
Trying to get her on and going. She was talking about the mist. We'll talk about that in a minute.
The what?
The mist. What the veil that keeps their world from our world. So there's
right. But that makes a good point that the veil is supposed to be up this, that, and the other. But in the movie, the old man looked up
and saw him
to the Titan and saw him. But there's supposed to be this veil.
Yeah.
Another issue that the series worked out even better, how it was illustrated that, Percy drew a horse with wings and nobody else saw it. They just thought he was crazy, which added to his issues and having to go from there. Hello, everybody who is joining us. We are now talking about the beginning of the series, Percy Jackson versus the movie, which came out in 2010. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to type them and let us know. We'll definitely like to see your thoughts and share them. But yeah, so Poseidon meets up with Zeus. They're talking about something's missing. What's missing? Oh, Zeus lost his lightning bolt.
It happens to a lot of older men. They make blue pills for them.
Shocking.
Boom!
All right, but yeah, somebody kidnapped from the Lord of the Gods of Greek mythology, or not? You stole from him. He's not like a lot of other gods. He lets things happen. So Zeus is missing his thunderbolt. He's blaming Poseidon, so he's going to cause a war that will hurt us, mankind, I should say. But now we're going to cut scene to a young man who does not know his father, who loves his mother very much, and has one friend in school. And Grover. What a name that is. But yes, Grover is his friend. Every time I hear that, I go back to Sesame Street and everything else. So
Exactly.
but that was Ridden's decided name on the best friend was Grover, who turns out to be as how do you pronounce it? Satyr,
Satyr, yeah.
Satyr, not satyr, not satire, but satyr, who is half man, half goat.
Which would suck if you like veal.
Yeah, but
Well, I mean,
anyway,
it would still be.
yeah, you're right.
No,
There's all
no
and
veal is
something you
sheep,
gotta.
but a goat is sheep. Very close.
It's something about Greek mythology. They always try and mix a human with animalistic or bestiality type characteristics, such as the satyr is half man, half goat. The centaur, half man, half horse, and that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Okay. So Pierce, y'all saw the meme. Yes, the meme. Y'all, if y'all did not see this part of the movie, just go watch that part. Just it's still in the beginning part of the movie. He's just galloping along the beach side after he's running around with some horses, and he literally does the Fabio hair flip. I did not need to see 007 trying to be, I don't know what. That
Just that.
to me, I was like, nah, man, no. See, no.
It's for the ladies, for the gents.
And then every take he looks like he's got a hemorrhoid because he's always leaning over to one side or he's always, like,
what are you saying? You poking fun of me? No.
No.
So I gotta sit up straight now. I'm not just saying that. It's like stand up straight, Adam. Stand straight.
Every time he's in take, he's either leaning or and I mean, I understand. I got to prop myself up every once in a while, but it just looked a little weird. So him as a centaur in the first one, not too keen on. I appreciate that he was there. The movie, it was not. Watching the movie again now.
Oh my god! Yeah, that was the kicker right there. Is like
biggest thing.
Yeah, it's like, all right, let's go back and we know we're going to talk about Percy Jackson, the movies versus the series. Let's go back and rewatch these things. And I at this point, I think I'd watched 3 or 4 episodes of the series before I went back and watched the movies. And when I watched the movies, I was just like, what? Because I remember liking the Percy Jackson movies, but after.
Right. And yeah, so Angie brings up a good point because we didn't know the book. I mean, I didn't read it. I'm not going to lie. And nobody here is surprised by that.
We're not talking about the books, Angie.
We're not talking about
books. You would have known the problems in the movie. That's all I'm saying. That's like Harry Potter fans. We knew the movies were bad from the get-go. That's why,
right? And you've been, and then the people who knew, the books about Harry Potter hated each and every movie. They left out this. They left out this. Hermione should have been more like this. Ron Weasley was like this.
The series, you realize they did that to the movies.
It's okay. So the series actually does bring that to a good point. The series is more. What would I say? It's correct. More time correct, whereas the movies was more like a Yahtzee game. They grabbed a whole bunch of dice and just shook it up and okay, we're gonna have this from this book, this from this book, this from this book, and put it all together and boom, we have a movie. And hopefully it's gonna make money, which it actually did.
It did.
Surprisingly
enough for them to go and say.
Worldwide, it made more, but you're looking at production, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which is what we're in right now. It was production budget of $95 million. And from there, opening weekend, it did $31,268,067. That's it. Worldwide, it hit $223,050,874. So they actually did make their money back worldwide.
Right. And enough for them to just say, hey, we screwed up that one so bad. Let's go ahead and make a number 2.
And the numbers were
go ahead. Yeah.
Sea
And
of
then
Monsters, which
Mhm.
also has a lot of stuff from the first, two books?
Mhm.
And from the first two episodes of the series, has 90 million in production, 14 million on opening weekend. Domestically, it got 68 million.
Fell
Worldwide,
short.
200,000 or 200 million. Sorry.
Right. So here at home, it's like nobody wanted to see it, but overseas, it was watched worldwide.
Yes. So
But they also
it's
had to go through recasting and everything else because it wasn't the original Athena's daughter. I think was recasted.
No, it's the same.
from which to which? I'm sorry.
In the movies.
From no, it is not the same one.
Yeah,
There
because
is a
the first
different
one
actor.
was a brunette with green
Yes.
eyes, and in the second one it was a blonde. I remember
Yes.
that. See, and I'm horrible with names, but I can sure as heck describe them. But yeah, they did a recasting, and from 1 and 2 with that part. And that's the one thing I like about the series so far. It's the same kids doing the same parts.
Right. So let's talk about the series. You've got the first one, which is I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Y'all, I love the names of each one of these. They're great, and
Yes,
it's kind of catching. Of course, I mean that's.
it's to me it's something like a 12-year-old would say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So accidentally vaporized my algebra teacher. Now, what happens there is, of course, that's where we understand or get to understand the veil, because that's the first time that the veil actually comes into play, and Percy starts to figure out who he is. And
Yep.
yeah, basically, so his teacher tried to kill him in broad daylight in front of everybody. And I enjoy the whole scene. I'm not too crazy about the way that they did the siren, or the way that they did the
Fury.
CGI on the teacher. It looked a lot. It reminded me way too much of a flying monkey. I saw it from Wizard of Oz. It was just an instant thing. Not apologizing for it.
So the Furies and Percy Jackson the series are flying monkeys from the Wizard of
Yes.
Oz. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
afraid to bust y'all, but it is the same actress. They simply dyed her hair.
Oh, well, we
Annabeth
got
is the
busted.
same actress. They dyed her hair.
The Annabeth is same actress from the first movie to the second movie.
But they
just
dyed
her hair a
hair?
different color.
However, they did replace your Fabio friend with.
Yes, they
Yeah,
did.
they did replace
Yeah.
Pierce. That one I knew
Yes,
for sure.
Pierce had another movie. I'm sure that he probably could have gotten a lot more money for.
Scheduling conflict.
Probably that, or everybody made fun of his Fabio moment.
But your three main cast members are the same three main cast members.
Okay, they're just a little older, and they dyed her hair. Okay, all right. So
Older and
we were
better.
correct.
Well, all right. I was lawyered. Thank you, Angie.
Okay, so episode 2, I become a super or supreme lord of the bathroom. Yeah.
One thing about the series versus the movies. During the series, it felt like I was reading a book because it felt like I was, all right, this is a chapter.
Yeah.
This is another chapter. Yeah. This is another, and that's something I like about watching these in the series. Now, to go back to a conversation or something you mentioned earlier, if HBO Max goes through with the process of doing Harry Potter, are they going to do it in this style as well, where it looks like everything is a chapter of the book? I mean, just an idea. Now, mixing conversations.
When they go back and do the cursed child, because they're not. I hope to God they don't redo the whole entire thing.
You're gonna have 30 episodes if they did it by chapter.
If they do the whole thing,
they may not do each chapter of each book, but maybe combine the chapters. But it's like you're reading the book as you're going through the series. But yes, they plan on redoing all 7 books, but doing like an entire season is year one, an entire season is year two, and build it like that.
Well, I mean, I like that because you can cover more information in a series versus a movie, whereas you're restricted to time.
Yeah, and
Unless you're
that's why I said
doing the
it should.
Titanic and then everybody falls asleep by Act 2.
Right.
The,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Now with I want to see it. I mean, if y'all like Harry Potter and you haven't watched Percy Jackson, by all means, go ahead and watch it. Now, keep in mind, 2010 when this launched, it was up against Harry Potter, the Harry Potter movies. I mean, Harry Potter was already in and established, and I think we're in the second or third movie by this time.
Right, and that was the time. That was the thing back then, is where they were taking young adult books and turning them into movies. Maze Runner, Divergent, Four. All these were young adult books that they're like, oh man, Harry Potter's making so much money. Let's get a piece of the action. And some of it is like they took these books and just went, there's your movie.
Yeah.
And because they wanted people to just spend their money and go see it because of Harry Potter.
Yeah, but that was what they were competing with.
What young adult book series? Both movies came out the same year as Percy Jackson.
Refresh.
Twilight.
Oh yeah, so Twilight that came out at the same year.
Twilight came out that year. Both movies played in 2010. It killed Percy Jackson.
So yeah, Twilight I'm sure got way more in box office than because I Sparkle for some odd reason. What the hell is wrong with? Yeah, for real. What the? No.
But it also says what young adults were into: sparkly vampires or Greek mythology.
I would take Greek mythology over a disco bloodsucker any day.
However, the angle that Twilight took was about the romance behind it, young romance. There wasn't any romantic interludes at all in Percy. It's basically just a young man finding himself.
The movie tried to
force the movie forced it, and that's a great segue to go into that part. Now with the movie, so Percy Jackson at the very beginning of the movie, he was very I don't know, inexperienced, I guess would be the word. He very naive. I mean, he was playing a kid, but he was getting his ass kicked while he was at camp, and water touched him, and now all of a sudden he could defeat an army, and it was just like he jumped up and he was like, I know how to fight now. What? No, I'm sorry. He would have been able to do that every time he took a shower.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But I do know what you mean, and then when retrospect, when we talk about the series, it's like he didn't know how to fight, but his body just knew how to move.
It was preservation. You could actually tell it was more of an instinct for preservation versus I now know how to combat an army. And and then later on get his butt kicked by other people.
It was lucky defense where he suddenly learned offense.
Because he was actually in the series, he's actually very surprised at the very end. He hits one guy and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, I didn't mean to do that."
Yeah, he's doing that. He's like, "Sorry, sorry,
my bad, excuse me, I'm sorry." To me, that literally tells more than what happened in the movie, where he just instantaneously knows how to be able to combat multiple combatants at the same time.
Right, and how it shows how he is getting his butt kicked even by Stronger and this, that, and the other. And it took I keep forgetting Athena's daughter's name, Goddess of Wisdom's daughter, Annabeth. Where in the series, after getting his butt kicked at camp, she says sorry and pushes him, and then that's when he hits the water. That's when he starts healing, and then that's when it's revealed that he is Poseidon's son with the trident appearing above his head.
The glowing trident. Yeah, okay, that I'm kind of on the fence for that. I like the way that they divulged the information to him because okay, when he first got to camp in the series, he didn't know who he was. He was unclaimed, and he had to go to another camp or another dorm room, and
Which turned out to be the House of Hermes.
right. So with that, in the movie, they already knew who he was. They already know, he already has all of this stuff, and he already has his own camp there, or he has his own where he is the only one, and he's just got this big, huge house all to himself. I mean,
yeah, but no friends, this, that, and the other, and that's the angle that the movies took, and then Hermes' son befriends him, this, that, and the other. But there's always Grover. Grover is always there. But Grover's got his own little path that he goes to because he wants to be like a journeyman, a maker of maps, go out and adventure guild.
So that's that in the series.
It
his
really
main goal,
goes into more detail.
He wants to be on the search for Pan. He wants to look. He wants to be licensed to be able to go and search for Pan around the world. Because that is ultimately what all the satyrs' jobs are. As they progress, they want to be able to get there because once that happens, Pan is the ultimate satyr.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but then on the ways they're mapping their whole journey, they're taking notes, this, that, and the other, and that's they're cartographers as well as adventurers and as well as finders of Pan.
They're peace-loving hippies. I mean, that's basically all it is. They don't want to fight unless they have to. They don't. But they do want to occupy or to aid in quests and the heroes' quests, and that's what their jobs are primarily. Now, look at the movie Grover versus the series Grover. The movie Grover, hyper confident, almost way too much so. I mean, to
me, he was extremely wiry, but
but I mean, he was very full of himself, very confident, and he was I don't know, he was a very positive person. Whereas, I mean, the series, he's a positive person, but he's still very reserved. He doesn't want to be in the middle of it at all. He just wants to. He knows that he doesn't want to mess anything up. His main goal is I need to go get this license because before I can do anything. Yeah. And he doesn't want to mess any of that up.
But he does. But the one thing that stays true to both of them is both Grovers have the mentality, I am Percy's protector.
Yes.
That was a key point that both made. So
and,
good.
How do you like the way that Grover was found out, or Grover reveals himself? Let's do that. It sounds really weird when I say it. Not like
reveals himself.
Yeah, reveals himself to Percy in the movie, where he's sitting there and he's taking his pants off, and you're part goat. In the series, it's he's there at his at the house by or what is it?
So when he gets into the camp, and then all of a sudden the priest is gone, and he's like, "What's the bird?"
No, in the series, he was there on the water, at the house by the water, and that's when Grover came over and he was knocking on the door. Hey, that whole thing. His mom was actually trying to sit down and talk to him and tell him about who he is and what's going on. Right. So that I like that because that's a little bit more believable as opposed to, and we'll talk, the car issue. He's pulling off his pants. It's just really weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So and what about that first battle
with the Minotaur?
Yes.
I can understand sign language. Oh, with the Minotaur, let's see. Which one did I like better? I'd have to say the series better.
Yeah.
Just because bad because in 2010, that whole CGI cartoonish sort of feel to it, the
Right.
series still tried to keep it realistic.
Yeah.
Believable.
Believable.
It more believable, and that was the thing. But before the actual battle with the Minotaur, it's escaping my memory. Which one had the car flip that lasted like 30 seconds and nobody died?
The movie.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the movie, you know, they drive by this pasture, and the pasture had cows, and of course, you know, they did not see this gigantic freaking minotaur that just pops up above all the other. I mean, you're looking down at cows that look like chihuahuas now, and now all of a sudden he picks up a cow and he throws it in front of the car. The car avoids, hits the cow, starts flipping. At the reference, I loved it, where they were like, cow, I automatically went to Twister.
Yeah.
Another cow. I think that's the same cow.
Same cow.
I don't know. I didn't necessarily like that. I liked how they did it in the series, where the Minotaur actually ran them down. A little bit more believable, especially from a mindless beast.
Yes, that had one mission and everything
Yes.
else. And then at this point you learn a lot more about each Percy's mother when they make it to the camp.
Yeah.
And everything else. In the series, the mother's like, "This is as far as I can go," and then you hear the Minotaur in the back, and she's like, "I gotta stay here with the Minotaur, but Grover, you go this way." And I'm like, "Wow, Mom!"
Right. She knew that she was going to have to sacrifice herself in order to be able to get Percy Jackson where he needed to be, and
Right.
that was, I mean, very believable, because I know a lot of mothers that would actually do that for their kids. But with the movie, because there was one point that I wanted to be able to hit on that I kind of skipped, and I'm going back.
Okay, we can go back. We got our DVRs.
When she was conversing with Percy in the movie, when she was conversing with Percy in the car when they were going to camp, it was daylight. She was telling him basically his backstory, or her backstory with Percy's father. And the next thing you know, it does a cut scene. It's dark. They're on a 2-lane road, and she just picks up the conversation. What the hell were you talking about? From, you know, you missed sunset. Where did sunset go? And why did you just, like, in the middle of the conversation, you just, okay, shut up. I'm not going to talk to you anymore till we get down this road, and it's nightfall.
Because they had to make it nighttime for CGI purposes.
I get that, but the editing sucked. That was just not a good thing at all whatsoever. So automatically not believable.
Right.
But going to, but when the Minotaur in the movie, the mom can't go any further. In the series, she didn't necessarily. She was more so trying to get the Minotaur's attention away, so Percy and Grover could go ahead and get to the camp safely.
Yes.
In the movie, when the Minotaur grabbed a hold of Percy's mom, the reaction from Percy was very minimal. When she evaporated, extremely minimal. Whereas in the series, you had, you know, Percy was going nuts. Percy was going.
No.
You're good. So Percy was aggravated. He wanted to be able to save his mom, which is all believable. It all worked out. Whereas, and I know we're talking about a fantasy thing being believable, but you know what I mean. The acting aspect of it, it was more so believable from the series versus the movie, where, you know, after she evaporated in the movie, he was just like, now I'm going to kick your butt. In the series, he was full of rage, grief-stricken. You could see it in his face. It was, you know, the acting, it was good.
Yes, very much so. And then the death of the mom or the kidnapping of the mom.
That we find out
Again,
later. Yeah.
that's
I like how they were both
this.
done. The CGI, I think the CGI in the series was a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. But I mean, with a budget like they had for the movie, it was decent. It was a nice dissolve. Percy pulling the horn out of the tree.
You can do a lot of stuff when
I
you're
mean,
in a rage.
yeah, but in the series, he cut the horn with the sword, and the horn was just barely hanging on. Right? Believable. Breaks it off, sticks it in his head. Done. Right?
And the whole pin sword thing, so great. One of the oldest Greek phrases, philosophical phrases of ancient Greece. The pen is mightier than the sword. I was like, God, teaching moment.
But what happens when they're the same thing? Now and I like the aspect of in the series talking about the sword, how he finds out that if he ever loses the sword, it comes right back to him. As long as he doesn't hand it to somebody, it will always find its way back to Percy.
Right.
Whereas they didn't cover that at all in the series. No. He dropped it at one point. He was scurrying trying to grab it again. And, that to me, that was a huge page turner when it comes down to workability of that particular weapon. I mean, it's a god's weapon, so it was created by a god. It was made for a demigod, and
I mean, the series versus the movies, we learn a lot more about the weaponry, the godlike weapons. Not only did we touch on Zeus's lightning bolt, we also talk about Hades' helm. There's lots of pieces to this puzzle that we are getting more of through the series. Like you said, the movies were just a hodgepodge of different parts, and it says we're going to make a 2-hour feature film using what we think are the highlights of the Percy Jackson novels. But the attention to as much detail as you possibly can in a series type setting, I do like that aspect of talking about the weaponry of back then, and they're delving a lot more into the characteristics of Annabeth and Grover and Percy himself. Even they're going a little bit further, talking about Luke, and there's
I'm sorry, cutting in.
No,
right
go
here.
ahead.
And that's a really good point. But they didn't cover Annabeth's in the movies. In the movies they didn't do anything for Annabeth as far as her weapon. In the series, she had the hat, which was a helm, and she put it on. She became invisible, which gave her always the upper hand. And that also gave her a lot of, I guess it made the character a little bit more believable because she could always be there undetectable or undetected.
Well, no, I mean, she is the daughter of Athena, who is the goddess of wisdom and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes to gain the most wisdom, some people just need to sit down and shut up and observe. You can gain so much wisdom by observing, and for her to use that helm to go invisible just to watch and learn through observation, that shows wisdom in my book as well. It is a note that I gave to myself going, wow, that's how I get smarter, Adam. Sometimes you just need to shut up and pay attention. So
yeah, I think I need to learn that too. 46 years old and I still haven't learned it.
Well, I just turned 45 and I'm still learning it too. So we could row that boat together, you old man.
Yeah. Okay. So, so that also goes back to her in the movie again, where, she was very, Percy walks up onto her in camp in the movie, sees that she's kicking a whole bunch of guys' butts, right?
Mm-hmm.
She can handle herself. She's very intimidating at that point. From there on, it was almost like a damsel in distress point. She, she didn't show wisdom. She didn't. We got 3 comments and I can't see them. We've got. Can you help me out there, babe?
Well,
Can you go in there and see
only
what those
3
comments are?
well, the comments that
I'm
I
just
see.
reading arguments about Riptide the click pen because it's not a click pen, which is what
No.
everybody's upset about.
What?
Riptide.
Are you
His
are you
sword,
talking
which
about the?
we're talking about
Yes.
is not a pen. It is a big cap pen, and repeatedly they talk about how he flicks the cap off, or he loses the cap all the dang time. And if he puts the cap on the end, it writes in gold ink.
Okay. In the movie, it was a click pen.
That's why people
Correct.
were
Right, exactly. So, and
Okay.
yeah, in the series, it was more of a big pen.
Right.
supposed to have
The
a
3
cap
comments.
because he
The 3 comments we
flicks the
have
cap
right now.
off, and that's what turns it into a sword.
Mm-hmm.
But if he takes the cap and sticks it on the end, it writes in celestial gold ink.
Very
Right.
nice.
But if you watch it, whenever the sword transforms, it is out of view of the camera. So they're not showing the removal of a cap or anything. They're not showing what his hands are
They
doing.
do show the click. There's a clicking motion.
In the movie,
clicks the pen and
yes.
Yes.
But in the series, I haven't seen it form in his hands. It's been slightly out of view,
Yeah.
and then he
So what
pulls
did
it
you
up.
need to look up?
Oh, we were just looking at the comments, but I think Adam got it.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3 comments that are actually on this is when Amy said that she could hear us both. I said thank you. She wrote back, "You're welcome." And then I wrote a comment that says, "If you're watching, make a comment."
Okay, there you
So,
go.
but that's on our page of Bearder Buds, Food, Movies, and Suds, where we've got our video recording at this moment. So,
Beautiful. Okay.
because I'm seeing where it's saying people are watching, like right now. It says my soul brother, Mr. Matthew Kaminsky, is watching. Hey, Matt, make a comment.
Hi, Matt. Yeah, by all means, please, y'all comment, enjoy. I know for a fact I'm gonna make an ass of myself. So, but that's what I do. So y'all just enjoy, make fun, whatever. All right.
Now realize when we go on our rants of talking about movies, series, this, that, and the other, we may give out spoilers for those of y'all who had not seen it or this, that, and the other. But like I said, we have maybe gotten 3 episodes into this 10 episode series.
My
9 or 10. It's up there.
9. Yeah.
9.
Well,
Okay. But we've been talking
the
about
prophecy comes true is the last one. That's 8. Sorry.
8. Okay. So we got through 3 episodes in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally we wrap up the show at 8 o'clock. We spend an hour, give you some time, this, that, and the other.
We've got 30 minutes because we had to adjust because of the mess up in front.
And that's why we're doing. So those who are watching us now, we are going to continue trying to get us further into the series versus the movies as possible. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything and about the movies and the series, which you like better, please make a comment. When I can read it, I can answer it.
Heard. Okay, so let's talk about the monsters that Percy, other than the Minotaur, let's talk about the next monster.
The Fury.
In the movie, I'm sorry?
The Fury, the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Mrs.
I guess that would have been the first one, technically.
What?
The Fury.
Yeah, because
In
I
the
couldn't
series,
remember if it was a Fury or a Valkyrie, but either were.
Valkyrie
Yeah.
is not.
Valkyrie's totally different.
Completely, totally different.
Valkyrie is Norse. Valkyrie is Norse mythology. We are talking Greek mythology. It is a Fury.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, the Fury on the teacher that was also on the bus.
Right.
Yes.
So
okay, so that was the first
he fights
2.
the Fury, and then on the movie,
There is no Fury on the
there is no Fury. No, yeah, there's a Fury. That's when
Yes.
Because they're in the museum and she's up on the scaffolding, and she jumps it down and turns into the Fury and then goes after.
That was the first one in the movie. The second one in the movie was the Minotaur. The third one that we will go through,
That's the
I
one
want to say is Medusa. The one I want to say is Medusa.
It was.
No.
Medusa was third.
Not in the movie.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Well,
Medusa
who's the-
is third
who's-
in the movie. Because after they flee Medusa, because that's when I get pissed at that there is no train sequence, and then suddenly they end up in a building that she didn't even know was her mother's own temple.
Okay, don't get too far too fast. I know. Yeah, but
Medusa's
But
third.
what? But
what I'm trying to come up with, what I'm trying to bring up is the freaking Hydra in the movie.
That's fourth.
Okay, so
Hydra,
fourth.
not Hydra, is after Medusa.
Yes. So one Hydra, aquatic, not land based.
yes,
No legs
right.
You got legs
and
and
arms.
is breathing fire. Not a Hydra.
A multi-headed dragon raptor thing.
Right. So typically Hydras
No,
will spit acid and they're water based.
And there's snakes.
And
no,
no legs.
There's no
no.
legs.
Know that there are depiction of hydras with two front legs with the snake tail.
But this one had legs and arms like a fucking raptor.
Yes, that.
Right.
And
They're,
mini
they're,
arms like a T-Rex. It was.
what happens? What happens?
We thought this through.
What we know about mythology and this, that, and the other, and the creatures such as the Hydra, from here, from the neck up, that's the only thing that matters. Because with the Hydra is when you remove a head.
That if you cut off one head, two grow in its
And it's
place.
supposed to be a serpent and dragon head.
But they were dragon heads.
Yeah.
They were dragon heads.
They should not have spat fire and that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about spitting acid, you could talk about how snakes spit venom. I mean, it is more believable than going back to having fire breathing creatures in mythology. So yes. Totally agree with that.
Creatures in mythology, just not a Hydra.
There is no armed, legged, three-headed dragon creature in mythology.
It set us both off. I'm not gonna lie. It was a big thing. Okay, so but let's go back to that part.
There are three-headed dogs.
It was getting there. We're really getting there.
Well, the Hydra should have been a chimera.
So chimera. And yeah, it should have been a chimera. The Hydra, he doesn't fight Hydra till book 2, the Sea Monsters.
Right.
So in the movies, it would have been the second movie, not the first movie.
Right.
And he would have actually fought him.
Like we discussed
water.
earlier. It's like what we discussed earlier. They took books 1 and 2, trying to make it movie number 1. But since they made 200 million worldwide, they're like, oh no. If we're going to make a second movie, we need to
fill in the holes.
Fill in the holes that we created ourselves.
Which is the quest to begin with, which was never to collect the pearls because they are given to him later.
Exactly.
Why they turned that into the quest in the first place was not the quest.
She jumped ahead of me on that one.
She did. But I
love
it that it's like that she is the voice behind the camera.
Right. Yeah. We'll eventually get her on. She's like, no, I'd rather just be heard and not seen. Okay, so but yeah, let's go to those. But with the Chimera, I love the way that they did the Chimera.
Yes.
I love how they introduced the Chimera. The CGI was a little as a baby. It
was done in the Ark.
Yeah, in the St. Louis Ark.
Train.
Okay.
And it started in the train where Percy actually got stabbed with the scorpion tail of the Chimera, and the stinger broke off in him. Yeah,
right.
If I remember correctly.
I think that's
Okay. So, and then from there, he starts to feel the effects and so forth and so on. And then he saves everybody.
Well, that's the whole point of going to Athena. It's because
he was trying to.
They're like, she can fix him. She can,
Right.
Not to collect a pearl.
Because he didn't know. Right. Okay. So in the movie, the quest being the pearls, was way off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Way off. Like, I mean, that was not even if you were a fan of Percy Jackson and you watched that in the movie, I'm sure if it upset you you were probably like, no, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's paid money for this, and now I am quite upset.
Okay. Don't go too far ahead because we need to go to Medusa. We need to go to Medusa.
Okay, well then let's put a pin in this, and then we'll go to Medusa.
Okay.
All right.
So
You go.
who are their names? What actresses played the part of Medusa? Uma Thurman was the first one, right?
She played her so wrong.
Well, you stop it. I just need a yes or no. Was it Uma Thurman? It was Uma Thurman.
So wrong.
All right.
Medusa was a victim, not a freaking.
Number 2 in the series. I see her face, but you know I'm horrible with names. Who played Medusa in the series?
I'm pulling it up. Hang on 1 second. I can't from laughing. I apologize. Okay.
It's like her name is like right there on the tip of my tongue.
Jessica Parker Kennedy.
Jessica Parker Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
She played Medusa in the series.
Yes.
Yes.
Her interpretation, and oh my goodness,
Was
the costuming.
more accurate.
Yes.
The costuming,
yes.
the character in the series, Medusa was depicted wonderfully to me.
And the fact that in the series, the Fury chasing Percy and everybody in the party,
they even stopped.
Right, and then getting right there and all of a sudden realizing, okay, we took a left turn at Albuquerque here, and we are now in danger. And we got danger behind us and danger, sure enough, danger in front of us. And for Medusa to come out and meet the Fury and just like, hey, you're more than welcome to come in with us if you'd like, but I'm going to offer them lunch. They're going to sit here and they're going to chill out with me, and I'm extending my hand. Please follow me. The Fury's like, nah, I'm good. I want no part of what you got. You can keep your cheeseburger. I'm totally okay. But in the movie,
but she explains what happened to her and that she was the victim.
Right.
Not a seductress, not a hooker. She was the victim of Athena's rage, not and jealousy. That showed truly how Athena was just so.
I'm waiting.
Snow White Queen, and nothing. No, she was taken advantage of. She was quiet, meek. She was the ultimate, worshiper of Athena. And Athena was just like, well, you're prettier than me. And bam, that was it.
It's not exactly how that went.
No.
That's
what happened was.
Because I'm skipping what actually happened to Medusa.
Yeah.
But I'm saying something happened in Athena's temple Athena didn't like. And since Athena couldn't get back at the
what
gods,
happened was that Zeus
to punish Medusa, who was the victim.
Right.
What happened was,
in her mind, well, Medusa hadn't been so pretty.
Wrong.
Okay.
Medusa was a beautiful maiden. Yes. She prayed to Athena. Yes. What happened was Zeus got a fine eye for Medusa. And Athena's like, you're slithering into my relationship between me and my husband or Mike. So me and Hera are going to get together. And guess what?
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah. Ta-da. Ta-da. So then you get the Gorgon, Medusa.
Yes.
And her special power, basically, look at her, you turn to stone.
So men would never look at her again.
So men would never look at her again. Absolutely.
Some say that the curse was actually her blushing, so that men would never look at her again because of what happened to her, because Zeus seduced
right.
her. She would never have to go through that again.
Not necessarily, but yeah.
So
I wasn't there, so I don't know the story.
Never be so-called seduced again.
Say it again.
I wasn't there when it happened, so I don't know the truth.
I don't know the full story.
You got Zeus's story.
It's only hearsay from this point.
You got Zeus's story. You got Medusa's story, and you know everything.
I mean,
there's
because Zeus was a whore.
Okay. Yeah.
That is true.
It
That is true.
is true. I mean, he did
Was
have proof, Hercules.
Oh,
Just saying.
more than that.
Oh,
More
yeah,
than that.
way more than that. But that was just one of the many.
Arachnia, Medusa. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So,
And it's also proven that many women that Zeus seduced or took advantage of, they always took their vengeance out on the woman because they couldn't do anything to Zeus for cheating on them. And Hera couldn't do anything to Zeus, but she always took her anger out on whatever woman Zeus cheated on her with.
true. That. What she said.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen who are watching us talk about Percy Jackson, there's your mythology lesson for the evening.
Okay. So, now let's talk about the how she was, or in the movie, they didn't necessarily know where they were. They just stumbled upon a gas station or it wasn't a gas station. It's just a side street store.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you're driving 57 and you see that store on the side of the road that has those flags and just stone things laying out front, or if you're the one you're driving up Washington, the fireworks store with the stone figurines
had some
out front.
out front.
Yeah,
No big deal. Just go in, see what's going on, because we're hungry. We want to be able to eat something, and
right. We smell cheeseburgers,
and that's this is not a place where we want to be. When I guess the surrealism of it was when Grover found his Uncle Ferdinand.
In the movie.
He
realized they had stumbled into.
Well, yeah, he was like, "Oh, you even got the mole, the same spot as my Uncle Ferdinand," and then boom.
Yeah,
we're in the layer
was
of
the
Medusa.
movie. And I like how the series turned around where after everything had happened, and they're walking around, and Grover goes up to one and he recognizes it right away. He says, and he's like, "This is how far you got."
Yeah. And that was really cool. He paid tribute to
you were missing, and now we know where.
But I mean, it's you've got the knowledge versus
and the fact, in the
not
movie,
knowledgeable in the movie, which didn't make any sense.
And in the movie, his uncle had that look of shock and awe on his face, but they made it a point in the series that he was smiling.
Right.
And that was I love that touch because it shows some of the characteristics of where Grover gets some of his mentality.
Yeah.
It's like even through the hardships. Even with the hardships, you have to find something better. So
keep a sunny disposition.
Right. And like I said, there's a lot of lessons in each of these episodes that are somewhat hidden behind the quote unquote veil. But when you really pay attention and you really get involved into the series, these lessons are there. And these lessons have been passed on since ancient Greece. And because of these series and everything else, it's all coming back to fruition. People need to understand that a lot of the entertainment industry is not just CGI, this, that, and the other eye candy. Is that if you the ones that you thoroughly enjoy are the movies and the series that teach you a lesson. The movies was all about eye candy and action and this, that, and the other. But these series have reason. There are lessons to be learned.
Well, that's true for Disney, though. I mean, they do that a lot for a lot of their stuff.
All of the mythology in the series than they did in the movie. In the movie, like Medusa's character is completely out of character, and she's just decided to attack them. Where in the series, they make it a point that she talks to Percy and wants to know what type of person he is. Is he like the gods? Is he going to?
Right.
But would you give up your friends and I'll let you go? She tests him because she hates the gods.
Well, that is kind of true for everybody that Percy runs into, both in the story or in the series and in the movie. I mean, they realize that the gods have done a lot of people wrong, or they're just
But
very.
Medusa isn't like that in the series. She's just evil. In the movie, she's evil. In the
In the
series,
movie, she's
Oh,
evil.
yeah.
In the series, she's
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah,
Broken.
her. And she wants to know, are
Yeah.
you going to betray? Would you
Right.
betray your friends?
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
they're totally, the helm was nowhere mentioned in the movie, and they totally use it in the series like they're supposed to.
Right. So that's Medusa's death in the movie versus in the series.
Yeah,
Let's talk
I'm going to
about
mail
that.
it to Olympus. I'm going to mail it to Olympus.
Well, yeah, well,
But it's the whole
Before-
using of the helm, not
right.
just I snuck up behind her.
so it's the in the movie.
Oh, Grover's
I
hoodie.
didn't like the movie. I didn't like the movie at all. But I did not like the movie Medusa. Or I didn't like the Medusa in the movie. I did like
there's
the
no
Medusa
helm.
in the
There's like,
series.
let's use the reflection off of the cell phone. I got behind her and I chopped her head off.
Right.
We used the thing.
Yeah.
There was no strategy. It was pure dumb.
But if you've ever seen Clash of the Titans
Yeah,
back in the day,
There you go.
that's
Yeah,
exactly how Perseus was able to see Medusa was
The
through the
shield.
reflection of the shield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That
But they
was
didn't
not
use shields. They had cell phones.
right. He didn't have his shield there. So,
Yeah.
but that in that Clash of Titans, Perseus got the shield as a gift from Athena. So,
Well, yeah, he ended up getting 3 gifts
right,
from the gods: the
the
shield,
owl,
the sword,
shield,
and the
the
owl.
sword. Yep.
It gets the shield later, which also tells more about
Not-
Yeah, right
not-
before he defeats the Kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting off topic. Going.
It's like, are we mixing every movie that had Greek mythology in it now?
These 2 movies. That's what I'm saying.
Pretty much.
He's in the movie, and before they start on the quest, Luke hands them the shield, the shoes, like, oh, here's everything you're going to do.
Okay.
But during
Oh,
the
yeah, that's the movie.
they
That's
get
the movie.
the
Yeah.
things as
Yes.
they go along. It makes a whole big
Right.
difference. He didn't walk out fully prepared. He walked out with just riptide.
I like.
Right.
What was it? I like
Just the
in
just
the series.
They collected along the way like they're supposed to. It
Right.
wasn't just Luke handing out toys from his, mega room.
But it's like in the series, the way they depicted the shoes looked like those 1980s
Converse.
white Converse.
Yeah.
Beat down Converse.
Yeah,
And
well,
I was
they
like,
were Converse in the series too, but they were red, weren't they?
I believe.
And he was
But he
actually
said-
able
but
to
Luke said,
activate
like,
them.
he's got dozens of these laying around. He won't
Right.
even notice that he's missing a pair.
Right.
in
He
the
went
movie.
I know.
into his house. So he said, I broke into my dad's house and I grabbed these.
All of this, yeah.
yeah,
So, but the shield wasn't.
has not been mentioned yet.
No.
I don't think this.
So
Well,
he
in the movie, he gets the
Ares
shield.
sends him on to get the shield.
Right. So
And then you
in
learn
the
more about Athena
series,
being a treacherous
in the
witch.
series, Ares actually sat down and
Yeah, they're
just 1
red
second. Pulling
Converse.
it up.
They're red Converse in the series, which they're supposed to be according to the book, but they're black, raggedy looking in the movie.
They
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
And in episode 5, where a god buys us a cheeseburger in the series, where you're actually getting Ares coming in, the first time on the motorcycle, they jump over the wall of the bridge. Ares stops on the bridge and he's like, "Hey, what's up? Y'all are kind of off schedule. You need to kind of hurry up. I am your cousin. You want my help? Get your ass to the diner. I'll be waiting on you," kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then he takes off, sends them
Right.
on a side quest for the shield.
Okay,
That I like.
that's what happened. I forgot the part with
Yep.
the chair.
Right,
Yeah.
because then you learn how Athena cheats on her husband with
Right.
Ares, and because you learn she's more and more self-absorbed, and it teaches you more and more that the gods are just self-absorbed and do all kinds of
So are the goddesses.
yeah, And then
I think Constantine said it best in the movie Constantine.
Yeah.
God's just a guy with an ant farm, lady.
Yeah.
You know, that's
But-
pretty much how the gods were in this. It was just
In Greek
There's
mythology,
pretty much
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
They didn't really care. It was with a lot of this was for their own amusement, and they just moved
Right.
forward.
And in the movie, they don't treat them like that as much, but in the series, they make a point to show how kind of like heartless and self-absorbed and just above everything
Oh yeah,
they are. And they are just that and cruel and mean and do things for spite.
right.
And like Athena running off with Ares, and that's how he gets his shield stuck by the armor god whose name I can't remember, begins with an H.
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's one of my favorite characters.
There you go.
He got the Cyclops on his side. He's got the Giants on his side. He is living off the grid.
Yeah. But it just shows you more like Athena her cursing Medusa for supposedly sleeping with Zeus, but yet she ran away. She ran off on her own husband because she had an affair with Ares.
Right.
Well,
So,
but it's usually Hera who does the cursing of the women that Zeus falls for. Hera is quite the jealous
extremely.
wife.
Yeah.
But I think I think in the story of Medusa is that while she was praying to Athena, Zeus and Hera were
It's
there.
not Zeus. Athena. It's not Zeus. It's Poseidon. Poseidon is the one that seduces Medusa, and Athena curses her because Poseidon in her temple.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right. Okay.
All right. So, yeah.
And
Okay.
that's
So
another reason Medusa can't stand Percy because it is his father. The reason she is the way
She
she
does
is
even
because of
that-
Poseidon.
Yeah, she does make that in the series. She makes that comment in the series, I know your father.
Yeah.
You know, or I'm very familiar with your father, or something to that extent, leading on that there is or was something at one point in time.
and which is also an interesting point when you tie it all together. Percy's father, and then Annabeth's mother, and then Grover's uncle.
Yep.
All of their people had played a part in Medusa's life. That just goes to show that Medusa gets around, y'all.
She did. She lost her head, but a little bit. But yeah.
In the end, yeah, she lost her head.
But her animosity towards Percy is because of Poseidon.
Okay. All right. So from there, and if y'all haven't watched any further, we're talking about roughly around episode 5 right now. We're about to
Is
go
this
to
the
Vegas.
casino?
We're about to go to Vegas now. If y'all haven't seen this,
No,
spoiler alert, you're fixing to have some spoilers going on because I'm fixing to cover some stuff.
lotuses and casinos.
Yes, the lotuses, the lotus eaters, the house of the lotus eaters. Now, with this, in the movie,
Oh.
they roll up on the casino. They roll up on the casino. They go in. They aren't really necessarily privy to what's going on, which you would think the daughter of the goddess of wisdom would probably have some clue, especially when you get, especially when you have somebody hand you a edible lotus flower, and now in the movie they eat it and they start tripping they start tripping.
Yeah.
So now that they're on a Molly trip, they're just enjoying life and they kind of forget where they are, what they're doing, and yada yada yada. Next thing you know, time has passed. In the book, in the series, the movie,
all that
passing because
time
of
passed. Yeah.
But
That was
Sweetie,
something that they both had.
knowledgeable, and they walk in going, "Don't eat anything."
Right.
Yes. The lotus is because the lotus flowers and the lotus don't eat anything at all. They know.
Dead giveaway was the Lotus Casino.
They're aware.
So in the movie, they didn't necessarily.
In the movie, it was like they didn't know. They didn't have a clue.
They,
Like, oh,
nobody
we'll
had a
take
clue.
the lotus flower. And they're like, how are you, the children, especially Annabeth and Grover? How did they not know that you were not supposed to eat the lotus flowers?
And then Percy was like 5 in or something, where he was just constantly eating them. And he was at the bar, and next thing you know, he overhears his dad in his head saying, "Percy, don't eat the lotus flowers. It makes you forget things."
And then he
So.
Grover lucid, and then Grover's like, oh yeah, lotus eaters.
Oh yeah, and
Annabeth,
now everybody
now
figured
they
it out
remember.
after it was over with. And I guess, I mean, to a degree, that part could be believable if you could get them to eat something. But they should have known. I mean, the dead giveaway. Not to mention the fact that they were there to grab a pearl. Every place that they have gone has been part of the Greek mythology aspect. It had something to deal with, or, dealing with a Gorgon or with the Minotaur or with any of the other things that they came and they're on a quest. So they had to think that there was some adversity going to be there going into it. It wasn't just going to be a fun time. In the series, I like how they did it. It actually kind of threw me for a loop. I knew that there was one of two ways that they could have gotten the effects of the lotus flower in, and how they did it, I like it. I really do. Because in the series, what was it? It was Grover talking to the one guy. I can't remember his name, and
I know
that sucks. But but it was another sailor that was on the quest for Pan, and he was just like, "Hey, you don't remember
I need
me.
your help."
Yeah, he was like,
Follow me.
you've been with me my whole entire life. You knew my family. You were there. You helped me. You showed me the ways of the sailor." And the guy's like, he's like totally just constantly eating chips. And he keeps offering Grover the chips. And Grover he's like, "No, you're not supposed to be eating anything. You can't eat the lotus flowers." He goes, "It's not lotus flowers. It's nachos." And, he's looking in the bag and he's like, "Huh, but you don't remember me," kind of thing. And it keeps on going. And then you see how Grover starts to decline as far as his memory, his recollection. He doesn't really understand what's going on. Piping it in through the air ducts. Freaking loved that idea.
The sense that the longer you were there, the more you
were there, the more
zoned out you got.
the more you lost track of time. Which in a casino, if anybody's ever been in a casino, especially here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, you don't have a clock, you don't have windows, and they do kind of keep you going.
Right.
If you start to look a little drowsy, they'll make sure you get something to drink or, what have you. So they keep the ball rolling. Very much believable. So that was the only other way that I could think of that before they introduced it, of course. And again, I didn't read the books. It was something. I can
tell you that the biggest aspect for the series for the book readers is that point, is the lotus eaters, because we're talking about 12-year-olds. And what they do when they walk into the casino, they get a all-you-can-play game card. Right. And that's how they supposedly get lost.
But in the movie, they actually did talk about that comp.
Yeah,
they handed him the card. He was like, "Here," and they were like, "No, we don't want anything comped." And then they kept on going. But Percy ended up at the roulette table. I don't know how that happened in the casino.
They were
unbelievable.
Looking for Hermes. They were looking for Hermes in the casino.
But a 16-year-old kid in the movie, 16-year-old kid at the craps table, at a roulette table,
gambling, which is
not going to be. They were supposed to be
in the arcade.
In the arcade, exactly. So then the arcade was touched on a couple of times. They saw it. Right. So and that was a facet. Okay.
And then they get found by Hermes.
Right. In the series, but not in the movie.
No, in the movie they steal
the Maserati that was at the front door, and out they go. Right. And they're on their path.
Which was wrong.
If I remember,
in the series, they talk to Hermes, and he gives them his cab, which allows them to travel at the speed of a blink or whatever.
Right. Where did we see the cab in the movie, though?
Yeah, the traveling cab in the movie was the three fates, or with the one eyeball.
It was driven by the three
flies
fates.
them and then says, "Oh wait, you don't have a fare." That's completely not how that goes down. They just threw the fence in there, probably for another scene that they skipped over.
Yeah. Okay. Pause. Okay, go, Adam.
So, they don't meet Hermes in the movies until the second one?
Yes.
Right.
The Sea of Monsters.
And see, Mr. D didn't come in at all until the second one, the second movie.
Right. Right.
Whereas he is there on Percy's arrival. Yeah. He's like, I could be your dad.
I could be your daddy.
He's like, I don't care. I'll be your dad. Just go get me some alcohol, man. Every time I
go fetch the wine.
But I do love the comment in the movie, on the second movie, where Mr. D was sitting there and he was trying to pour his fantastic vintage and it turns into water. And he goes, the Christians have a guy that can do this in reverse. Now that's a guy.
Now
died out laughing. That was fantastic.
Okay. All right. Key point. When it comes to Dionysus, Mr. D, whatever you want to call him, I think he is the only character that I liked in both.
Yeah. He's just
I liked him in the movie. I like him in the series. He is the one character that I like in both.
Absolutely.
So Mr. D, thumbs up in movie and series.
And I will say that between the two movies, with the casting change, I like that they took the actor that plays Giles. When they changed this, at least they gave him like a shirt and a vest, which was more he was supposed to be like the superintendent at the school or whatever in a wheelchair. And then now he's got a shirt and a vest and a tie, whereas he's got some Roman-looking leather thing going on in the first movie that's totally out of
where
the character's supposed to be.
He wanted to show off his hamburger meat.
Right. They're like, let's do some, we're going for the romance book cover here. And not the school teacher aspect that he was supposed to be.
Very good. And in the series, though, I like that one a lot. I like the CGI on the series a lot better than I do in the movie anyway. Both 1 and 2. The second movie, as he was walking, you could actually tell he had more of a stance like a human walking on stilts.
Yeah.
And I know it was green screen. I know all that stuff. But the movement was more believable in the series versus in both of the movies. So,
and I mean, we do have to say that special effects, CGI, digital animation, whatever you want to call it, has taken a major step between 2010 and 2023.
Yeah, but you're look at the other movies that we covered that. Look at the other movies that were out before. I know
Avatar came out the same year.
Thank you. There we go. So Avatar. Huge CGI movie.
Okay. Huge CGI, but they did a full body. That was a full body CGI. The Centaur is half.
Centaur would have been, but you still would have had, from here down, you would have had green screen at least, or, the suit. I didn't like it.
His posture didn't flow.
It didn't. It didn't flow right at all.
So, however,
whatever they did in the series to be able to get his movement down, kudos, fantastic, great job. Even if he was wearing half of a horse's costume that for Halloween, however they did it, they did a good job. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we?
All right, we've hit the casino. All right. We have left the casino.
They stole the car out front, or Hermes gave them his taxi to travel.
Right.
While they're running.
Okay. So the taxi, we've already covered the taxi in the movie. That was at the very beginning part of the movie where they're driven by the three fates.
Right.
And scared the pants off of all three of the passengers, and they were fighting over the eye, yada, yada, yada. Made some funny little quirks. Percy driving in the series.
A 12-year-old behind.
A 12-year-old driving behind. And the funny thing is that they were told, all you got to do is just get in there. The taxi will take you where you want to go.
But like every 12-year-old that gets into a car behind the steering wheel, what do they always do?
Well, isn't Annabelle's trying to do the pedals because they can't reach, and he's trying to do the wheel, and they're all yelling at each other. Bam, bam, bam. I can do this.
It was great. And
It is.
But the way that they were able to get to the underworld was how? They broke out of the gate, 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Smacked him.
So then Ares sneaks them in the truck. No, that's how they got to Las Vegas.
That's how they got to Vegas. So, and we totally skipped all of that. But the
Needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, anything that we leave out, just forget.
y'all fill in the gaps. Y'all just go
Fill in
watch
the
this stuff.
gaps. Go watch the series. Go watch the movies. Fill in the gaps.
Tell them the bearded bud sent you.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. But okay, so the pearls that they make a big quest of in the movies, that same episode with the Lotus, they end up at the beach or near the. Anyway, he was supposed to meet his father there, and he's like, well, you took too long because they were at the casino too long.
Yeah.
It took too long. He was supposed to meet his father.
That was in the series, the movies, everything.
No, movie, they're questing for these damn pearls.
Right.
In the series, it does it. He was like, well, you were supposed to meet him here, and you took too damn long, but he left you these. He gives him 4. There's no...
No,
3.
he doesn't give... No. He didn't... Percy didn't get the pearls until he was underwater.
Right.
He was actually talking to the siren.
Yes.
She hands him 4, and he looks down and says, there's 4 of them. And she says, save the world,
and
then go save your mom. And
yep.
That was awesome. I was like, hell yeah. Whereas in the movie, they found 3 pearls, and it didn't dawn on them until somebody says there's only 3. You know, Persephone looks at it, there's only 3. You got 4 people. Somebody's got to stay behind. You know, and then, of course, Grover's like, I volunteer as tribute. He's like, she's ready to rock my world. I'm here. Take me. I'm good. You know, and
yeah,
it was a funny comedic moment.
Right. So yeah, he's told to meet his father there, and he meets, and she's like, he's left already because you're too late. And she gives him, and so there was no quest for the pearls. The quest is to get to. The quest is for the Hades. Lightning bolt, because the lightning thief was the whole entire thing. Right, and that's why in the movie I got so agitated because now they have to quest for these pearls. I was like, no, the quest is to get to Hades. Right. Well, the quest was the lightning bolt. Right, which to find the lightning. Is in Hades, but they believed that Hades had the lightning bolt, so they were questing down, and Hades. They did find out that Hades had Percy's mom, and of course, that's just going to be the pushing force to go ahead and get down to the underworld. Okay, so points.
No,
what you got?
You're making them but no, you two are making the points as you go along. I'm an observer.
Okay, so where is the gate to Hades? Because it's definitely not under the fucking Hollywood side.
Okay. Yes, that's where we were going to go next. Okay, so in the movie, the gates to hell was in a vagina behind the Hollywood sign. It was a vagina. Look, only to you, there's a crack in there was grass at the top of it, for crying out loud. That was a vagina.
That was a mow your lawn incident.
Huh?
That was a mow your lawn incident.
That was definitely a mow your lawn incident. So anyway, so in the movie, they went ahead and they went into the hole that just appeared vertically and at the Hollywood sign. And next thing you know, they're in hell. All right. Okay, well, not necessarily in hell, in the underworld. And, you know, they meet the boatman in the movie. Okay, so that scene.
Are we talking movie or are we talking series?
Movie.
Can we skip?
The bottom of the studio.
We're going to get there. Put a pin in it. Okay, so with well, no, it just okay. The entrance comparison. We'll go back to that then. I don't want to lose my place with the. Okay, so in the series, it was under a record studio.
Yeah.
Believable.
In the back.
No. I mean,
Wait. No, wait. In the series or in the movie?
In the series.
In the series, wasn't it in the
It's in
bed?
Huh?
Or is that the movie?
The movie, it's underneath the Hollywood sign.
No.
Okay.
Because they have to get there in 3 hours.
Oh no! In the series, that's right. Percy meets his other brother. And,
right in the bedroom, bed salesman.
Yeah, and because he goes,
sleep center.
he tries to get him to lay down in one of the beds because he knows that the beds are a trap and it's going to keep Percy from going in because he wants the war to continue on. He tricks him, and then of course he tricks him. Yes.
Annabeth comes in and pushes his brother onto his own trap.
Right. And then they go from there into the underworld. Now, let's talk about the underworld in the movie, please.
Okay.
God, before I stroke out here. Sharon. Okay. Is it Charon?
I do it, Kieran. Kieran of the River Styx. It's another Karen.
So in the movie, the set design first and foremost on this scene was atrocious. I didn't like it, couldn't stand it at all whatsoever. It didn't even look believable. It looked styrofoam. It was just, it made me want to throw something. So, as they're, they're conversing with Sharon about what is it, or they want passage, and Grover hands
like he don't know
this boatman $150 like in bills, hands $150 to the boatman, and it literally just turns to flames in his hand, and he's like, and then Grover makes a big deal. I'm like, man, okay, so first and foremost, satyrs should know not to do, because they covered that in the series. Drachma and drachma and all of the stuff where, that has to deal with us. And in the real world, make sure that the money is there. And Luke even says, don't confuse the two. I made that mistake before, But the funny thing is that the mistake was made and displayed in the movie, and who was to make the mistake but the satyr himself? See, no. And then we get into the series. The series now was beautiful. I know the set was CGI. I know it was all green room. I know all of that stuff. I like how they did. I like how they did the entrance. As they were walking up, they were like, Percy's just like, excuse me. And he's like, everybody's waiting in line. I don't understand why they're waiting in line. And then he's just busting through. He's like, apparently none of these people are from New York. And they get to Sharon in the series, and he's like, you haven't paid the toll. You're not dead. And they're like, okay, well, coins. He takes the coins and is like, okay, well, but
you're still not dead.
Yeah, he blew the whistle, and he's like,
buy yourself a better whistle.
She made the comment, you can buy yourself a new whistle. And then you hear the one thing that I was looking forward to, because I wanted to see how they did it.
Cerberus?
Yeah, Cerberus, because you've got a Cerberus type, because you got Fluffy in Harry Potter, and it was it's very much the same basic principle, three-headed dog. So I wanted to see if it was going to be close. They did great. They even showed that Cerberus had leather armor on. It was awesome. Right around his collar, he had like a leather vest on or whatnot. That was great. But so he calls in Cerberus, and Cerberus chases them down. I loved every second of that. I loved how Annabeth just jumps on the side of Cerberus and like scratching him right behind the ear, and he's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm good." And he just goes to sleep.
The dog is happy.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, I'm getting some attention. I'm happy. I know a lot of dogs that are like that. I'm not going to sit there and try to pet one that's pissed off at me and baring teeth, but she made it work for her. Which is another point. Annabeth in the series is a lot braver than Annabeth in the movie.
Yeah, that goes back to the whole damsel in distress card that you stated earlier.
Yeah, but that was just it. She wasn't supposed to be.
She's supposed to be on the run. She grew up on the streets.
Yeah, she's a strategist. She's the Goddess of Wisdom's daughter. She's supposed to know a lot of things. In the movie, she don't know a whole lot of things.
Nope, and we're just left assuming. All right.
Yeah.
So they get through Cerberus, and then they get to the elevator, right?
Well, but there's before they actually go through parts of hell or parts of the underworld.
Right. That's what they left out of the movie. That was all just hell, whereas the underworld is the Elysian Fields and the waiting area. Like, it's good and bad. Underworld is both. It is not just.
There's reasons for everything, and they're actually showing, if you've got regret, this is what this is what that is. They don't do any of that crap in the movie. In the movie, it's you're getting in this boat, and then the next thing you know, the boat comes out of the like right behind the sign, and you're floating over the sea of what was supposed to be the Sea of Styx. Or the river Styx,
and it's just like
but it's just like flame and torment, and it's hell. It literally turns into hell, and you're looking at graphics from Hellboy, graphics from Constantine, you're seeing all of those influences in that particular scene, and the Riverman's talking to him. The Riverman wouldn't be talking to nobody first and foremost,
right?
Because what has he got to say? What does he's seen it all, been there, done it all.
And he's telling them that this is the whole, everybody here is damned. No, they're not supposed to be. That's not how that works.
So, movie, did not like it. Did not like it at all. Series,
much better.
It was much better, because you got from there, they got once they got up on the wall and they got away from Cerberus, they lose Annabeth in the forest because she had regret, and the roots were starting to grow around her and keep her in place, and they went ahead and went on, because she broke the pearl, she went back.
Yeah, and I mean, that's foreshadowing something to come later. It's the one thing that was going on in the series. They always left you something that you want to find out later on. And I mean, it touches on that where Percy is like, well, what do you have to regret? But we don't hear him to say that until later.
Yeah. And so from there, the shoes come into effect, where the shoes try to drag they're dragging Grover. They wasn't supposed to drag Grover. It's supposed to drag Percy. But it drags Grover down into it was trying to drag him down into the depths, where we find out later, and again, y'all, spoiler alert, Kronos is the one that's behind all of this. And that was what is, the shoes were actually supposed to draw and bring the bolt, which Percy did not know that he had, down into the depths, down to Cerberus, so Kronos would have the bolt, and of course the shoe to be able to fly out if he needed them, which he wouldn't need them. So because we're talking about the God of Titans. Movie. Pass. Let's just
just pass.
Yeah. It's not even it was not even a forethought or an afterthought or anything in between. It was just
skip through.
Right.
Yeah.
And so going back to the series, you can see Percy's brain trying to fit all of this together, this, that, and the other. And when he's talking to Hades, things are dropping. Hades like, I don't want the bolt. And then Percy's like,
That's what I mean.
Percy's like, well, yeah, I know you don't. Well, this whole thing has to do with Kronos. And then Hades is like, well, I need the bolt. It's like, I don't have the bolt, but now I need it.
Yeah.
It's like, because if you're saying Kronos is coming, I'm going to need that.
And I like that modern movement where, we're in the series where when he meets up with Percy, he's like, I like the cut of your jib.
Yeah.
And like a little nautical reference there for you. And I wanted to die out laughing, dude. That was funny.
Right. And then it goes into that whole making a deal with the devil sort of a reference. He goes, and he's like, and then he says, well, I have your mom. You're not going to give me the lightning bolt.
Well, no.
So we're in the midst.
He wanted his helm.
Well, he wanted the lightning bolt. He wanted the lightning bolt, and he says, no, I got to take the lightning bolt to Zeus.
Yeah. So when Hades found out about the whole, the lightning bolt, because when he was there, he was just, talking to Hades, and he was like, hey, I want my mom. He's like, well, you got what I want. And he's like, well, you're not getting the lightning bolt. He was like, the lightning bolt? Why the hell would I want the lightning bolt? I don't want the lightning bolt. I want my helm. And he's like, you're missing your helm? And he's like, well, yeah, of course I'm missing my helm. Why do I want the lightning bolt? That's all there up there. Everything down here is rainbows and unicorns. I'm totally happy with all of this down here and having to deal with none of my family's crap up there. I'm peachy keen. And, I was like, okay, well, there's a possibility that, we're talking about Hades. There is a possibility where he's just kind of playing that off. And when he found out that Kronos was involved in this whole entire thing, then Hades was like, about that lightning bolt. I kind of need that. And I'll give you and your friend, I'll give you and the goat here, I'll take care of y'all. No worry.
Yeah.
Just ask me for
Same
asylum,
passage.
and you're good.
Yep.
No worries at all whatsoever. Just give me the bolt because now I need it. I didn't know that Kronos was coming back. Now that you got it, I need to make sure that I CYA here. I got to cover my own ass. Give me the bolt.
Right, and then Percy pulls that card and says, "No, I gotta take it to your brother." And then he goes like, "I'll accept your deal, the first one.
Right,
I'll go get for the helm. I will do that. I'll do that deal, not the lightning bolt deal. And I'll get your helm. You give me my mother."
Right, and so in the movie,
J Plus.
Huh?
In the movie, played by J Duplass.
Right.
Duplass.
What band was he with, though?
No, he's an American actor.
Oh, okay. So in the movie, basically, they go from the boat into Hades. Well, no, they go into the foyer of I guess what would be the hell, right? So or Hades mansion, which they were met by 3 hellhounds.
Right.
Nope. Sorry. Didn't like the hellhounds. Didn't like the way they were. I didn't like the artistry of them at all whatsoever. They were not believable. I do know that the reason why they probably did it was because they didn't want to be wolf-like, because hellhound. They didn't want to have to go up against, as far as the CGI aspect of it, I'm sure that they didn't want to have to go, because they were going up against CGI of Twilight and against Underworld, which was huge in the whole wolf thing, and that and I'm sure that they kept that. But the first thing that I said when I saw this was, "Are you the keymaster?" I am. I am. So
I was in that same boat. I was like, my
with
girlfriend is a dog.
his adult. Exactly. And I was like, y'all ripped that from Ghostbusters, and you did a shitty job of it too. It wasn't even like a real, hey, this was good. They
No.
came out, and I was like, oh God,
Sorry, it's
no,
Steve
it
Coogan.
was just not smooth enough at all whatsoever.
No.
And could I do better? No. If I had that equipment, maybe.
Right.
But looking at it from an artistic perspective, I didn't like it.
All
I
right,
didn't like him at
No.
all. But that was actually where Cerberus was supposed to come into play.
all right. Jay Dupont
Yes.
is the actor that plays Hades in the series.
In the series, I need the movie.
And in the movie, it's Steve Coogan.
Okay, yeah. So in the movie, they run up on Persephone, and with the dogs, and she was able to control the dogs, and they got them out of the way. Then they followed Persephone into the living room, I guess would be considered, next to the fireplace where Hades is, and Hades was played by Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan in the movie in his English.
Right. I liked it. I liked who they got for both Hades.
Right.
The series and
Thunder.
Yeah.
Night at the Museum.
I like how they did it. I like how they even kind of gave him a little grandstand moment. Would you prefer me to look like this? Where he comes out and he's he looks more like what everybody depicts as the devil.
Right.
Like an metal band member.
Right. So with that, I dig it because I dig that interaction. I dig how they did all of that part. The series was great. Except for the entrance where he's walking, you can hear him clip clopping, clip clopping, clip clopping. There was a movie that popped into my head. I can't remember which one it was, but it's the guy, running down the hallway, and he's like, "I'm sorry, if I would have walked, the movie would have been over." Which movie was that? Help me. If y'all know in the comments, make it known in the comments what movie that was. The guy's running down the hallway. He gets all the way to where he's gonna, and he's like, "I'm sorry. Oh, the ship is so big." Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
I can't believe I messed that up. That's one of my all-time favorites.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the first thing that came to my mind, is that was drawn out a little bit more, but they wanted to make sure that they showed how big that area really was. And I understand that it was all green room. But it was nice how they introduced. The clippity cloppity could have been dialed back just a smidge, in my opinion.
Definitely.
But the interaction on both, good to go. Now in the pearls, oh man, there's so much I could go. The pearls in the movie versus the pearls in the series. The pearls in the series were white, and they look almost plasticky, and they glow, and they're crushable. They look crushable.
They look like pearls?
In the movie, they were green.
Blue, glowing,
they look like they're filled with
should have broke 3 times.
Magic dust and all kinds of stuff. And they look like they look like they were made of glass. I like the series one better.
Well, because in the movie they drop it 2 or 3 times, and the ideology is they broke it.
Yeah, if it was glass,
fight
as soon as it dropped, as soon as it hit the ground, it would have
broke like 3 times.
Okay, so off topic. Go cover.
No, y'all are doing fine. I mean, it is true when they get to the pearls and everything else. What we're starting to realize between the movies and the series is that by far the series has done a better job. Now, there are some acting that we can say are good in both, but not once have we said that there were better characters cast in the movie versus the series. And
Yeah, it's not
I think
about
that's
the actors. It was the writing and the plot points that I had the major issues with. And the
writing, the
styling,
plot points.
the
is what
writing,
she had
the plot
issues
points
with.
were completely chaotic in the movie just to make it as action
Yeah,
adventure filled as possible, whereas the series is focusing more on the storyline
and the
right.
and you
characters.
actually care more.
Say
The,
yours again.
and the characters, the
Yeah,
character work and their development in
yeah.
the
There
stories.
is
Yes, that
character development in the series, whereas in the movie, everybody is who they are. They're already set in motion. They're set in stone.
And they're bad.
That yeah,
right. There's no character arc. I talk about
right.
that a lot. You
There's
need to see a change in each individual character that is being told in this story. And because of the time that the series allows, they did a better job, which makes us love these actors and these characters more than the movies.
right.
Right.
Um.
Okay.
All right. So when they get to, so they get to 7, we found out the truth, sort of. That's the underworld, and then the prophecy comes true. Okay. So did you get to see this?
This is after he has talked to Hades, and they now realize that it's been Ares and Luke the entire time, and
That Luke was
and
the
That Luke was the friend who betrayed
yep,
him, where that is completely skipped over in the movie.
right. So we find out in the series when he's talking to, and I don't remember but what did he call her? A Halloween decoration.
The fake,
right,
the Oracle.
The Oracle. When he was talking to the Oracle in the series,
What do you call friend?
I like that. Yeah, I like how they introduced that after he said the whole the cue of you're a Halloween decoration. She spews forth this green mist, and it ends up being his stepdad. And he's like, "Why you?" Kind of the look on his face. He was just like, "Anybody but you. I
right,
would have taken anybody but you telling me where I needed to go." And then the quest was given. The quest isn't given to Percy until the second movie, Sea of Monsters.
right.
Totally out of skew there. It should have been in the first one, and that should have been the quest. Whereas now Percy is receiving the quest for the Lightning Thief in book 2, or
Right.
in the second movie. Sorry, but with the prophecy comes true. Percy, what was the points of the prophecy?
One you call friend will betray you.
Right.
So you thought it was going to be Grover, and I was like, no, but somebody he thinks is his friend.
Right.
Not they think they're his friend. Annabeth admitted she was not his friend.
And
that's why he took her, because he figured, well, you're not my friend, therefore you wouldn't betray me. He figured Grover was going to be the one that betrayed him, because that's the only person he ever thought of as his friend.
right.
And he thought of Luke as his
He
friend.
chose his people in the series.
Yeah, they just
Whereas they
hopped
did,
along.
yeah, there wasn't a choosing. They chose to go with him on the movie. So as he was trying to leave, being on Mr. Billy Badass, I'm going to do this by myself and not take anybody down with me. They went ahead and they jumped into the mix with him. Where and again, but he would.
But in the
he didn't talk to the Oracle in the movie, and that's the reason.
right, and
why
in the
he
series,
got
they're like, no, all quests you have to pick 2, and then he was like, after talking to the Oracle, okay, somebody I call friend's going to betray me, which means Grover has already betrayed me once. He's going to betray me again.
He was going to choose Luke because Luke was the better option. Luke had the ability to be able to do all the fighting and whatnot in the movie, and he even said that to Did he say that to him? No, he didn't say that. He said that to him in the series, right before he went on the quest. I was going to choose you, but and that was the whole entire thing from there.
Yes.
With okay, lost my point. Help me.
No, you were
Don't figure
you
out
were at
Luke's
the
the
point.
bad guy to the very end of the movie, and it's this weird fight scene that doesn't actually even
Well,
was unnecessary.
you don't find out that Luke is a bad guy in any of it until the very end. From the movie to the series, it's he didn't really understand that Luke had involvement in the series until much later.
Right. He knew somebody was going to betray him in the series. He was looking for them to betray him. That's why he picked them.
Right.
And then as the quest goes on, they realize because of the quest, they would never betray each other. So who's going to betray him comes down. Turns out it's Luke, but the stupid fight scene in the movie, oh my God. That was
so
nonsense.
but that's where we're going.
Whereas it's supposed to be that Zeus is the one that says, "Oh, by the way, I know who had it, and it wasn't not he knew before."
Well, he doesn't say that in the series either. Okay, so what are we looking at? We're looking at episode 8 at the very end. We now know that Kronos, or they know that Kronos is the reason why all this is happening. They're trying to bring Kronos back. And
and he's trying to hire everybody that has something against the gods. That's why Kronos is bringing in Ares. That's why Kronos is bringing in Luke. And he tried to bring in Percy because Percy's original thought was, why would I get back with my father who
my
has
dad,
nothing to do
wasn't
with my
there
life?
for me. Why would I want to be there for him, kind of thing.
So he was like another candidate to be brought into the fold.
Yeah,
because Luke was his friend. If anybody was going to be able to pull him on over to the dark side, so to speak, Star Wars reference.
So Disney,
right? I mean, keep it going. Well, who better to do that than somebody that would be one of his peers? And Luke was the best way to be able to do that. They had the same perspective as to the gods, why would they be the way they are? And, they should be afraid of us and yada, yada, yada. I like what Luke says, though, to him. He's like, Annabeth is terrified of spiders. And what do you think Annabeth does whenever she gets near a spider? And Percy's like, well, she squashes it. Right. Think about that when you're talking to Zeus, to him, you are but a spider. And what happens when something becomes scary and annoying? They get squished. And don't be the one to get squished. And that was before he actually finds out that Luke was the turncoat.
He was giving him a great life lesson at that point.
Yeah.
He was helping it. He was still trying to help it.
That he was.
He was being his friend to a degree.
He was, and he even told him, he said, look, I never intended to cross you. I mean, I wasn't trying to do anything against you. I want you to go with me. I want you to be a part of this, be on the part of the winning side. And, together we can constantly run through, he had that sword that he could cut through time with. And he could literally go anywhere he wanted to. And he said, we can just be on the run all the time. We can just hang out, have our bromance, whatever, all the time. No worries. And everything's good. Percy, of course, didn't like that idea. And that's when they started fighting.
Yeah.
That all happened in the second movie, a little bit later on. And when they were, but it was in New York. They had Percy had the lightning bolt, and, they're fighting. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you're a demigod or not. Why would he advance Percy if Percy was holding the lightning bolt? And why didn't Percy use the lightning bolt at that particular point in time? You've got the all-powerful lightning bolt of Zeus in your hand, your sword in the other. The first thing you want to do is use your sword? Question?
He didn't know how to use the lightning bolt.
point and click, dude. That's all it was. And
That's
I
the
guess
sword.
that was no. That's click the point.
That's yeah.
But you know that whole entire in the movie, that whole fight scene, I have to agree with Angie on that one. It was terrible. It was bad.
Okay, that fight scene where they're just like flying around with the shoe and the stupid nonsense.
Where Luke was flying around.
It's almost as bad as the idea of the sword somehow stopped flames in the other fight. Like, all the fight scenes made no sense in that movie.
Yeah, it was very...
None of them made sense in that movie.
It was like action for action's sake.
Yeah.
Not action for storyline's sake.
Yeah, the fight scenes made no comprehensible sense. Flame is coming at you, but if I hold up the sword, suddenly now that blocks flames long enough for them to hold up Medusa's head and...
No, that was Medusa's head that stopped the flame.
No, he put up the sword. Suddenly the flames are like bending backwards. Then they hold up Medusa's head behind him.
No. Grover was the one that held up.
Watch the scenes, because I sat there.
Can't watch the scene, they'll shut me down.
No, I'm just saying, we'll go back and watch it for argument's sake. He holds up the sword, and all of a sudden the flames like bend backwards. Like the sword is blocking the flame.
That was from Medusa's head from the Gorgon okay, so in the movie, when he was blowing flames at Grover, Grover pulled up the head, and Grover was the one that turned sword. No, he didn't have the sword. He had the head.
In the movie.
He pulled up the head. I don't know.
But
we can
Grover behind him
watch it. Y'all tell us what it is. Y'all let us know.
That makes no sense.
Y'all let us know. Watch the scene in the movie where Percy was fighting the Hydra. I say Grover pulls up Medusa's head, and that miraculously stops fire. It bends it back, and the Hydra turns to stone. In the series, they use Medusa's head to fight the fear. Right? That's what it was.
They did turn the Fury out in the garden, yes.
Right. So the Fury came through, and Percy pulled up the head. She turned to stone and then crumbled, and yada yada yada. And we'll get to the end sequence. I know you're chomping at the bit. You're ready to go, and I know the time's up. And y'all, we're back, and we're gonna go over. Get over it.
Deal with it.
This is our show, damn it. You're just here along for the ride. So with that, train, thought, derail. Survivors, hello. Help me out.
All right, so we are at the point where they have gotten they're figuring out Luke's play in this one, where he had the crappy fight in the movies, and in the series he has an in-depth conversation and even gives them a lesson and everything else. And he really realized they're on opposite sides of this front, but they now know the reasons why each of them are at this point in their life.
Yep.
And Percy's like, I have to get the lightning bolt back to Zeus. And he's like, you're late. And he's like, I don't care. I need to do this.
Right. So
you're right. It's Grover holding up the head, but the head is not.
I win.
But the head is not fireproof. They're not. The head cannot cause the flames to bend backwards, which it does. Yes. That was bullshit. That should have all been toasted.
Grover would have been cooked goose.
Yeah. The head is not flame retardant.
Yeah. Unbelievable aspect. There was no like force shield around the head of Medusa. No way to stop the flames. It was right. Yeah. He should have been one 50 critter.
Again, it's the whole issue of having a Hydra blowing dragon's breath, which I said in the very beginning was a dumb idea.
Raptor dragon fire, yeah. Raptor dragon.
She keeps going back to
raptor
Raptor.
dragon.
So they took it a step further and said that this dragon's flames cannot get Medusa's head.
Right.
Another dumb step
Right.
that 2010 took. Yes, and we
Can-
realized that the Hydra was a dumb creature in the
Absolutely.
movies.
110%.
Understood.
Or the fact that the mist isn't that humans can only see what humans want to see isn't even mentioned till the second movie with the eyes.
Yeah, the
It's been
mist
there since day
thing
one.
didn't even come into play until the second movie.
Here,
Yeah,
spray
you'll
mist
call
up.
it the mist. I call it the veil. So we're on the same
Well,
page.
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. They call it the mist in
It's
the
like a
series
fog.
and the movie,
Yeah.
and they just said that it's a veil that it's a magical
humans
veil
only
that
see what they can mentally accept to see when it's there.
Yep.
Like when they spray the Cyclops with the mist, he suddenly has two eyes.
right. That's in book 2 or show
That's in the
movie
second-
Movie
2,
number
sorry,
Two. Yes.
movie
They
2.
show you the fog in the
You
series.
ain't talking about no stinking books.
No, I'm saying in the show, in the series, they show you the fog, the mist.
Yeah, you
In
actually
the first
see that
episode,
in the
where
first
he can
episode.
see the teacher, everybody else is just standing there in the fog,
Well,
only seeing what they think they see, which is him attack a teacher for no reason. Or attack
Right.
another student for no reason.
but after she was vanquished, she was never there to begin with. There's
were
no
all in
there's no teacher here by that name.
In the fog,
Yeah.
they only see what
So-
they want.
All right, so let's get back to Kronos. Now, Kronos in the series versus Kronos in the movie.
Which would
Kronos
be
in the
movie number 2.
Right. Sorry.
I thought that was the
No,
hell beast that came out of the fire in the first movie that made no sense because that didn't.
well, that was Hades coming in and looking
Yeah,
like Baphomet.
Kronos was the one trapped inside the casket that needed the golden fleece of healing to be draped over it, so Kronos, who was separated into 100,000 pieces,
Right.
could come back together.
Right.
That was number 2. That was movie
Right.
number 2. Yeah. Now
So-
in this one,
No promises behind it in room number 1.
no, that was never touched on in number 1. It was just a quest and another
Right.
quest
So
and another quest.
right. and another. So I mean, with the way that they did Kronos in the movie, I can see where the budget went because that was really cool. He was all pieces coming together, doing all the beating and bashing, and the cursed blade was the only thing that he was beat a little too easy. Much like in the series when Percy fought the god of war.
Yeah, those fight scenes were so tilted. I mean, I understand the other life lesson that Luke taught him. When you pay attention, if you know war, if you know battle, you can use their rules against
them. Yeah.
And that's when Percy came up with the idea man-to-man combat.
Yeah.
And Ares is like, kid, you just signed your own death warrant. He's like,
Well,
you do realize.
He gave him, in the series, he gave him the ultimatum. He was like first one to draw first blood.
Yep.
But
I make the
first
rules.
blood, right? And that's you admit defeat, and then everything's over with. I mean, that from a strategy perspective, I understand why they did what they did, but Ares should have understood, or I would think that Ares would know. You
I
don't
think
want to kick
because
Percy towards water.
well,
But-
you're
You also have to
standing
put
on a
Ares in
beach.
context. He's a full-blooded god. He's immortal, whereas Percy is a demigod. He's not giving him credit.
Truth.
He's like, I'm
Yeah.
immortal and I'm a fucking
Right.
god. You're just a demigod. Nick, you can die. Supposedly, I cannot. So,
Right, but you know the whole the final cut, how it literally the final cut where Percy finally cuts Ares, he cuts him on the Achilles.
which is another Greek mythology point that
Exactly.
they want to make, and
he's bleeding gold blood and all this other kind, and that was
right,
cool.
right. I mean, but the whole fight scene and everything else is like Percy took a calculated risk by knowing war. If you looked at them battling one another, what was Ares armed with?
His sword.
What kind of sword was it? It was a
sword.
long
sword.
bastard sword.
It was
a long bastard
dual
sword.
hand sword.
Bastard sword.
Yes.
What is Percy? A son who is unclaimed, also known as in terms.
A bastard.
Yeah. I mean, learning that lesson right there. That he's like, this sword was made for that kid. But it turns out that Percy's learning about himself and his father's getting to know him. So he's no longer being considered a bastard. So therefore, that sword that Ares is using will not work. And all in all, this was just a poetic sort of interpretation of this novel, and how Percy's like, he's like, I told you that you don't know who you're messing with.
Right.
And that,
I told you that you don't know me. One day you will, kind of thing. Yes.
One day you will. But it took Percy to know himself.
Right.
When he used the wave to do the beat down. It wasn't about physical strength and everything else. It was using his natural abilities, and we all done science about water in motion and what it can do and this, that, and the other. And for him to do that point as the final thing, to just take him down to one knee, and for him to take his knife, make him bleed. To me, that is a poetic fight. Not as poetic as the Dread Pirate Roberts versus the Spaniard.
Thank you.
But it was a good fight.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
okay, if you're gonna reference Princess Bride and you don't know me, then it's Inigo Montoya. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Yeah,
my name.
But did I say? Wesley? Did I say Wesley? No, I said the Dread Pirate Roberts and the Spaniard.
Dread Pirate Roberts. That is the six-fingered man.
What?
No, that's later in the movie.
With the six-fingered man.
You're on one side, he's on the other. No,
I'm talking about the sword fight that landed on the cliff.
She didn't get to see it.
Not the one.
She didn't.
Not
doesn't know what
the sword fight. Not the sword fight in the banquet room.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you're having a sword fight and he's like, you don't know me, but you will, then my reference would be, my name is Diego Montoya. You killed my father, prepared to die. Because he says it over and over. You know me. You know, this is my name. My name will stick with you forever. You don't know who you're messing with. He's reminding him over and over again. You don't know who you're messing with.
I see your point. Okay, so that there was an artistic flair to it. I think there could have been more to that battle scene. I think Ares was defeated a little too easily, regardless of the fact if it was Percy Jackson or Poseidon or anybody. I mean, we're talking about the God of War here. We're not talking about,
But he is the God of War. He creates discord, and he enjoys war. He creates war.
Right.
They haven't really said much about him actually being a good warrior.
What happens?
War is just somebody who likes to create war and chaos.
What happens when Ares is defeated, though? When he evaporates.
He leaves. Yeah, he leaves, and he drops the helm.
He drops the helm. So now they have the helm. Now, I don't know what happened. I might have run to the bathroom. I don't remember him taking the helm back to Hades.
No, his first thing is getting the sword to that, and then what happened?
That was main number one.
And what happened was a Fury showed up at the end of the battle, and and Percy looked at her and says, "Your whole quest has been to get this helm back to Hades." And she's like, "Yes." So he hands the helm to her, and he's like, "You just tell him who got it for him."
Yeah.
And then that's how the helm gets back to Hades. He doesn't have to go back down there and use a pearl to come back up or any of that. He used the Fury to send it back down. So
Okay,
so he's
Return to sender.
So, right.
The end of the first movie is, or whatever. Here, Zeus, as a gift, sends back Medusa's head, which the mom then uses on asshole stepdad.
No, that's not okay.
The movie, he lost it
In
in
the
the refrigerator.
book, in the book. Okay,
No, I said in the
We're
movie,
getting
he
there.
puts it in the
Yes, we're getting there. We're getting there. I promise you, we're getting there. Okay, so as he gets up there, and okay, so in the movie, he sees Zeus. He talks to Zeus. His dad saves him from Zeus's wrath. That kind of thing. Zeus was going to kill Percy. He was just like, okay, well, you know, you're a bug. I want to squish you. You're an annoyance. I don't care if you handed me back my bolt. Thank you for doing this.
straight forward, but I'm going to give you this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just straight to the point. It's like the director says, "Well, we're running a little over 2 hours. Let's go ahead and wrap this up."
Okay. So now we're going into the series. I like the way they did the series. I like how they did the series end, where you know they were where Percy was talking to Zeus. I don't know. I kind of like both of them on that one. I like both of the Zeus. I like both of the end points. I like the series a little bit more because it goes further into the storyline. It even shows that that Zeus was, hey, I know what's going on here, but I don't care. That's
Right.
this was inevitable. I always knew that Kronos was coming back. I always knew that this fight was going to happen. I've got a war to plan. You're in my way. I'll give you a one-time chance. You get out of here alive. If you leave now, I've got what I
Right.
got. Thank you for doing what you did. I appreciate it. Now you got to go. Percy just kept running his mouth. He just kept, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So Percy's dad ends up having to come in and actually save Percy from Zeus's wrath. And his dad even says it in the series where, your mouth is just going to get you in or you got a problem with authority. And he's like, you get that honest. And I'm the same way. It didn't quite happen like that in the movie. It was more of an acceptance. Zeus was like, okay, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. His dad is there. Zeus said his bit. Then they had the father-son moment at the very end. And then that was it.
Yeah.
All in all, any points you want to add to that?
The conversation with Zeus, the only point I had was I had a moment, a tear-jerking moment when I saw Lance Reddick playing the part of Zeus because I admired Lance Reddick in his work with the John Wick stories.
Absolutely.
And he is a great actor, and seeing him be Zeus for this, it caught me off guard seeing that because I didn't do any research of who played these characters before watching the episode. And when I saw him Wednesday afternoon when I watched the finale step out as Zeus and the way he talks with that authoritative voice that he has, and it was just another phenomenal cast.
By far.
Yeah, by far. And then knowing that they're moving forward with season 2 of this,
Hurry up.
Hurry up, but who is going to play Zeus?
We'll have to see. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know. That's a tough one to follow.
All right.
But
She's got to say one thing. She's got a point. So I'm going to give the floor to her for a second.
All
right.
I have to say about Zeus is the one aspect of the movie that I did like, because you know why? Sean Bean lives.
Yeah, he didn't die in it. So Sean Bean, he dies in like everything that he's in.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
What the
he didn't die in the end of this.
He didn't die.
Kudos.
No, did not die.
Yeah.
So yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah.
But Kronos in the movie versus Kronos in the series. Kronos in the series is just a dark figure. Looks shadowy. Looks very dream-esque
I don't.
or dream-esque.
I think he's being developed into something
Yeah,
more. I think
much
I
bigger,
think
much better.
I think through like they're doing with all the characters in the series is we're seeing that character arch.
Yeah,
We're seeing
It's
a beginning. It's developing them. And it's like the post scenes or post credit scenes of our Marvel movies, so Disney, where it's like you start small and it's like, okay, here's Thanos. Well, guess what? Here's Kronos,
Yep.
and we're slowly building them up. And there's going to be a high point, a big scene for that one. But there is a lot that has happened just in these first 8 episodes of Percy Jackson season 1. The way they've done it in a better chronological order, they pretty much kept it to the book, I guessing, because Angie has been speaking quite passionately in comparing the two and knowing the difference between the series and the movies.
Mhm.
So so basically, if you want just a hodgepodge of all the references out of Rick Riordan's books of the Olympians, go ahead and watch the movies. But if you want to be, really part of the series and being part of the character developments, watch the series. And
I'd still say watch the series regardless. I mean, if you're a fan of the books and you want to be able to watch one of them, I would definitely say watch the series over the movie. If you want just a quick little, it's. I would say
if you're one
that
Sunday,
the movie is the Idiot's Guide.
If you're babysitting and you don't like the kids you're babysitting, pop in the movie, give them some popcorn, and walk away.
There you go. You've got them for at least an hour and a half on both.
Right.
And you can watch all 3 of these aspects of both movies as well as the series on Disney Plus. No,
Disney
they are
Plus.
not paying us. Disney, you need to be paying us because we're just that damn good. And you've got money to spare. I mean, come on. And I'm hungry. Okay, so hands down for me though, series wins. There's points that I like of the movie, and there's a lot more dislike than I do like.
To me,
watch it? I mean, yeah, I watched it. I watched it twice. How many times did I watch the series? Y'all, I'm not lying to you. I have watched every episode of this series at least 3 times.
Yeah. You're trying to catch the details and everything else.
Because there's so much. And
it's something you want to.
Yeah. I mean, it was not like some of the old other stuff that I was like, man, I got to watch this again. No, I was looking forward to it. I wanted to see it. I had to have a little bit more, and I can't wait for the series, for the season 2 to come out. I know it's going to be another year or so before it happens, but hey, man, it's worth the wait. Really, hands down. It's not just a kids movie. There is a good bit of adult reference in both the movies and in the series. Just grab it and go, enjoy, and tell them the Bearded Bud sent you to like it.
That's right.
Like, comment, and share on our stuff. We're going to start doing a little bit more. Adam and I are going to start doing Magic Mondays. If y'all like Magic the Gathering, there's Magic Arena both on mobile and on PC.
Yep.
You can download that and join us, man. We're going to be streaming. Now Twitch will allow us to share a stream, and we're going to try that. We're going to give it a shot. And yeah.
As long as my rehearsal schedule allows it.
As
Because
long
now
as
that I'm
happens.
in that,
I'll be
as
on.
long as music,
I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Magic Mondays are going to happen.
Magic
At least-
Mondays are going to happen. Okay, good. And
About
then I
one
will
point.
join in. I will join in after Music Man, and then it'll just be fun for everybody. So, but on that note, everybody, we know we kept you longer than usual. We usually just do a show for an hour, but like I says, just 8 episodes of Percy Jackson had us going on for 2 hours.
Well, we had to compare it to the movie.
Yeah.
It was a lot of information in a very short
It
amount
was
of
a
time.
lot. And understand, for those of you who are watching, if you pick a show or something that you would like to talk about, we are going to give it everything that it deserves. We will do. He will do research. I will watch it and become highly opinionated and everything else. But we want you, the audience, involved. That is our goal. If you like just sitting there and listening to us ramble on and talk about these subjects and how it compares to poetry, this, that, the other, love, interest, all that, that's fine. But be involved. Like, share, comment, all the above. Really help us out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, all of that stuff that he's talking about, it's just going to help us. If you like what we're doing and you like what the idea that we have in place here, help it further along. We're not asking you for money. We're not asking you to do anything. Even though there's stars up there, that's just don't worry about that.
It's a Facebook thing. Yeah,
it's a Facebook thing. They allowed us to be able to do it. I'll put it up there. You ain't got to pay us. Just watch. Just enjoy. Have fun. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Bring more people on with you if you want. He shares stuff to his page. I share stuff to mine. Know us individually. If you don't already, and if you do, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So sorry. So sorry.
But yeah, no, we like doing this. We enjoy doing it, and it's just a fun thing to keep us going and keep us occupied. And
yes, that's right.
We're going to. I've talked to a few. I'm talking to people, local restaurant owners and such as that, and we're probably going to be doing location shoots with this. We're going to be doing all kinds of different things, y'all. We've got a lot of stuff planned. You just got to help us along, keep us going, and the way you do that is interact. And it doesn't take much, y'all. That little thumbs up, that's helps more than you know.
That's right. That's right. All right, but Bear, going to give you the thumbs up.
Yeah, man.
To all you out there, going to give you a double thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Because it is getting late, and I needs to be getting some food. I feel some blood sugar dropping. So
yes.
I love you all very much. This is Adam Meadows with Bearded Buds, Food, Movies, and Suds, and I have to sign out. Y'all have a great night, okay?
Peace out. Yep. See y'all later. I'm Barry. If you don't know me, look me up. I'll let you later.